Hello out there, people. Nick here, coming at you from Hallway Studios, USA, Denver, Colorado. This door locks now. It has to be locked at all times because there is a homeless person sleeping out in the hallway here. The landlord got pissy about it, and he told me, you have to have a key now, and you gotta lock that door all the time because there are undesirable people sleeping in the hallway here. What I didn't tell him, of course, was that to me, landowners like him are completely fucking undesirable, and I don't give a shit whether a homeless guy sleeps out here or not. Anyway, it's very annoying. I have to go entirely around the house just to check my mail now because I don't want to have to fucking open and close this door with a key all the time. Good example of how trends in the outside world affect my life in the most minute of ways. But yeah, it's just very fucking annoying. Undesirable people, my ass. Fat, doughy, landowning fucks are the undesirable people, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, seriously, just go out and give your local homeless person a sandwich today or something. It's just the right thing to do right now. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk to you about today. Today, what we're talking about is a movie called The AI Doc, or How I Became an Apocalyptimist.
I'm a man, Mr. Whipple. You hear me? I'm a man.
Now, I saw a trailer for this movie while I was scrolling through a particular website. I won't say which one, but you probably know it. It's the one with the stupid little pink square and the little circle in the middle, you know, that one. And I've been scrolling on that for weeks, and it just seems like every post on there now is just about how the world's going to end or whatever, and I'm pretty tired of hearing news like that. I know it's all manufactured clickbait. I really only started using this website so that I could look at posts of like art and music and shit, and just to scroll down and see like every 5 fucking posts, oh, the world's gonna end, we're going to enter a new dark age, America's going to collapse, and so on and so forth. It's just not good for my mind. Like, I can do better. So, I'm focusing on reading The Crying of Lot 49 by Thomas Pynchon right now. I'll have a review on that out soon. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna chill. Gonna take a nice 2-week break off that wretched website, because it's just not any fun, really. Like, using the internet isn't fun anymore. I'm actually amazed I'm still making videos like this. If I sound a little rough, it's because I currently have laryngitis, but it's getting better. There was a point where I could barely say a single word in any register. Right now I can say things in this low, throaty voice, but if I try and go to a higher register, like, yeah, I can barely get there. Anyway, let's talk about this movie, The AI Doc, and how I became an apocalyptimist. Not that I became an apocalyptimist, that's a stupid term, but let's talk about this movie. Like I say, I saw a trailer for this movie while I was scrolling through a bunch of posts about how humanity's doomed, oh, you know, we're entering a second Cold War with China and Russia and so on, and all of the world powers are going to blow each other up. I see this trailer for this movie, and this is an interesting little diversion, all things considered. I watched the entire trailer, and I remember thinking, this is fucking stupid. This is one of the most obvious pieces of propaganda I've ever seen, and it's proof that AI and tech development and all that shit is just a joke right now to everyone. No one takes it seriously anymore. No one takes the idea that AI is worth jack shit seriously. A couple days later, I tried looking up the movie, and I remember it being called How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Became an Apocalyptimist, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the AI Apocalypse. And I tried searching for this online, but no results came up. And then I remembered, oh, it's Apocalyptimist, not AI Apocalyptimist or whatever. But, you know, if Google's shitty AI tool that it crams into the search feature now is anywhere near as efficient as people claim it is, then it would just say, oh, what you're looking for is the AI doc, How I Became an Apocalyptimist, instead of just returning search results that are completely irrelevant. So I had to go to the Wikipedia page for the list of Focus Features releases, because I remembered that it's a movie produced by Focus Features, a subsidiary of Comcast. So I did find it. Thankfully, I remembered that little detail, or I probably never would have found this movie because it's completely obscure. The trailer on YouTube only has about 500 views and 2 comments. You really gotta love how the most urgent film of our time only has 1,000 views. It was posted 1 day ago. That's not that impressive. Most movie trailers that are for movies that are supposedly much less urgent have more views than that within like an hour. The media landscape, as it traditionally was in the 2010s, is currently deteriorating. And I think we just need to accept that, and accept that figures like myself are going to be part of the new generation of media personalities and people making media. Because I'm convinced that I'm pretty damn good at that with my little digital camera. So you don't need big-time filmmakers like the doughy fuck behind this obvious piece of shitty propaganda to make documentaries for you anymore that are like sponsored by Comcast. In the next couple of decades, I don't think anything is going to end, per se. I don't think we're going to see the collapse of civilization or anything. What we are going to see is less of a focus on science, less funding for technology companies. That's going to be a general trend. America might become a second world country. That's a trend I see happening, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. I don't need America to be number one or the big shit or anything, because that's just mindless patriotism. If it happens that World War III breaks out, and European and NATO forces come onto our shores and spike Donald Trump through his gut and say, you know, you people fucked up. You Americans, you're what's wrong with the world. And by golly, I'll just fucking accept that, because we do seem to be what's wrong with the world currently. And I'm not a mindless fucking patriot that follows America to my fucking grave. Anyway, that's mainly what I see happening in the next couple of decades. Tech funding will peter out. We're already not anywhere close to the era that I grew up in, the 2010s, where everyone was just tech optimism willy-nilly. Let's develop a new iPhone every year. Let's waste gallons and buckets of silicon and lithium on everything. We're already petering out of that phase. We're already seeing Silicon Valley prove that it is worthless and that they have no new ideas to offer anyone. So in the future, ideas will be offered in art, in human expression. That's where the valuable and useful ideas will come from. And we're going to see a lot of embrasure of secular humanism, which I think is a good thing, honestly. We're going to see less emphasis on religion, science, any of that shit. We're going to both turn our backs on God and turn our backs on Elon Musk. And we're just going to see people be celebrated, the fact that human beings exist. The technology developers can continue on in whatever kind of delusion they've hyped themselves up into. But here in the real world, in material reality, people aren't enthusiastic about tech development anymore. And that's just how things are. People don't like Elon Musk, they don't like Peter Thiel, they don't like Sam Altman. What this film aims to do, The AI Doc, or How I Became an Apocalyptimist, is this doughy fuck who's kind of like Michael Moore, but if Michael Moore had no journalistic integrity, sits down with a bunch of these flim-flam artists, these psychopathic, sociopathic, I don't give a fuck, I'm going to rule the world through eugenics and the master plan and the final solution and all this. He sits down with these tech CEOs.
Your fear of AI is the collapse of humanity.
And he consults them as if they were experts in the field, when in reality, the experts he should be consulting are writers like Ho Chi Minh, Fidel Castro. If scientists like Sam Altman operated under Castro's regime in Cuba in the 60s or 70s, they would be summarily executed. Castro wouldn't look at a plan that goes, let's waste a shit ton of water so that we can develop a fake mind, and come to any other conclusion than this scientist needs to stop being a scientist, be imprisoned, summarily executed. If they were in Soviet Russia, they'd be sent to the Gulag and chip away at ice. And then Peter Thiel wouldn't think he was so fucking important, because he'd be chipping away at the ice with everyone else. So we can learn a lot from people like Fidel Castro, Salvador Allende, Ho Chi Minh. These are the people we can learn a lot from currently. As the trailer points out, and it repeats this several times, AI is ridiculously smart. It's crazy intelligent. Holy shit, it's gonna fix everything, and you're gonna be able to explore the galaxy. We're gonna be able to explore the cosmos if we're on our most mature behavior.
We're about to move off of the Earth into the cosmos.
If we can be the most mature version of ourselves.
Well, newsflash, humanity is currently not on its most mature behavior. Out of any future predictions, the assertion that AI will help us navigate the cosmos is something I don't see happening anytime soon. We currently have so many material problems here on Earth to deal with that we are not going to be training AI to land us on Mars or land us on the moon. And furthermore, we already landed on the moon 70 fucking years ago. The reason we haven't been back is because, just like today, scientific industry made unrealistically optimistic promises about the potential of humanity at the stage we're currently at. We're not mature enough to handle technology responsibly, and that's why we haven't been on the moon since 1971. Because no one gives a shit when there are wars and famines and shit being fought right here on Earth. We don't have time to go to fucking Mars. There's an entire poem about this.
Millions and millions of dollars are continually sent into outer space while we continue to face the same problems here on the ground.
So anyway, that's a pattern that I noticed. The trailer for this movie says AI is really good at recognizing patterns.
Patterns.
And that's supposedly a kind of intelligence or whatever the fuck. Well, I notice a pattern. America, if it continues down the trajectory it's currently on, guided by figures like Elon Musk or Sam Altman, which I don't think it will, by the way, but if it does, it will follow the exact same trajectory as the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, a bloodbath, an absolute fucking bloodbath. In France in the 1700s, Robespierre was a cool fucking guy, and he said, these elites, these aristocrats, they're eating too much fucking cake, so let's march them down to the public square, pop out the guillotine, and it was as easy as that. And Robespierre was a fucking cool guy. But my generation specifically has not been conditioned to raise up a Robespierre type figure. We've been conditioned to raise up an Elon Musk type figure, a swindly, dindly, con bullshit monorail developer man, Larkin type. We have enough of these type fucking people who say that computers are going to save the world or whatever the fuck. It's a tired narrative, it's cliche, and we need to toss it out. We need to develop more figures like Robespierre. Now there was a cool fucking guy. Gosh, I sound like George Carlin with this laryngitis. That's great. Anyway, in this documentary, this doughy fuck, who apparently is the director of Everything Everywhere All at Once, which, by the way, sounds like an okay movie, but I haven't seen it. It seems kind of overrated, and the concept of the multiverse is cliche too. It seems better than something like Avengers Doomsday or whatever with the multiverse concept. But obviously, someone who develops a movie about infinite possibilities, infinite realities, should be able to recognize that there is a reality where humanity gives up on trying to develop the ultimate computer, because that's something that you need to have an imagination for. Now, I personally have a fantastic imagination, and I can easily envision a world where America takes its cues not from nations like Britain or Japan, monarchist, xenophobic ethnostates. Instead, we adopt the example set by nations like Cuba and Vietnam. In fact, this was the premise of a mini-series called America with a K, which is an alternate history scenario where America ends up going the communist route.
Starting tomorrow, this is America.
So, writers back then obviously had more of an imagination. They were more open to possibilities than people like Sam Altman, Elon Musk, who just say, my possibility is the only one. This is the only way the future is going to go. I think in the coming decades, we're going to see people envision a lot more possibilities, like legitimate possibilities, like the embrasure of socialism, so that we never have an elite ruling class rise up and found their own little Epstein Island ever again. Now, what this doughy fuck in the documentary does is he never asks about Epstein Island, of course. At least I assume he doesn't. The movie isn't out yet. But going by the trailer, this seems like a 2-hour puff piece designed to give these tech CEOs, these fucking sociopaths, the greatest possible benefit of the doubt. Well, these guys, you know, they're going to come through in the clutch. They're gonna provide for us, right? Not true. No one's going to provide for us. I like this part where this smooth-talking fuck Peter Diamandis is like, the only time more exciting than today is tomorrow, or some kind of new age dippy bullshit. And then this guy's like, I already love you. And it's like, you're not gonna express any more skepticism than that? You're not gonna, like, pry in a little bit? You're just like, yeah, this billionaire media mogul has a charismatic personality that he uses to mask his sociopathy. I already love you. I mean, yeah, I mean, you're displaying your carefully curated media presence for me. I love you, man. You're just the fucking dopest, most awesome sauce person alive. Like, what the fuck is this? This isn't a documentary. We in the coming years are going to need to learn to provide for ourselves. We can't take the promises or reassurances of the billionaire class seriously anymore, because it's not 2015, and we just can't ride on that fucking wave of optimism. Like, it's cool that the doughy fuck behind this documentary has become an apocalyptimist or whatever, but at this point we need to start embracing material reality and accept that things are going down the shitter. Acknowledge that, come to terms with it, and then address the problem. That's going to need to happen pretty soon here. Now, I am an optimist by nature. I think pretty definitively. That's why I'm still here even, is because no matter what happens, I'm relatively optimistic about things, and I don't try and adopt a so-called doomer-type mindset. But the thing is, optimism does not mean sitting down with sociopathic CEOs for 2 hours and accepting every line of bullshit they feed you. It means rejecting their narrative and adopting a new one. In my case, one of secular humanism, looking forward to the future while discarding them as people. I think the best weapon we have against the elite class is to mock and belittle them, like relentlessly. Remind them, your life amounted to nothing. Your life was worthless. You'll never know love, etc. These are the kinds of things that a billionaire like Sam Altman needs to hear. They're the kinds of things that I would tell them if they were sitting across from me in a room like they were from this doughy fuck. But this doughy fuck has no journalistic integrity, so he doesn't ask the important questions. The most he comes to asking an important question, the absolute closest, is he asks, why don't we just stop?
Why can't we just stop?
And the answer from the AI CEO is, well, we can't stop because China and the Middle East and Russia and North Korea are developing their own AI programs. So whoever controls the AI controls the world. That's not the case. North Korea isn't going to be controlling the entire world anytime soon. Obviously, this brand of anti-communist xenophobia is old hat, and the general public should be able to see right through it. At least if you have a basic fucking amount of media cynicism, and you're able to buy out of marketing. Like, the type that would buy into this documentary is the exact same type that would buy into the nuclear arms race back in the 1950s and say, why golly gee, they're developing ICBMs. I need to pop on this, because whoever controls the ICBMs, the nukes, the warheads, they'll control the fucking world. Isn't that fucking stupid? Haven't we already heard this fucking line?
It is the considered opinion of most missile scientists that good progress has been made. Exceptionally good when one considers the complex effort it takes to produce something as strikingly new and different as an ICBM.
Now, of course, the reality is, as human beings, we have free will. We can do anything, actually, on our own terms. And if we all wanted to, we could collectively agree, let's stop developing AI. But we don't live in a nation run by someone like Fidel Castro. Now, we've elected a fucking war criminal, felon, pedophile to the highest public office. So we don't have people like Fidel Castro around to say, let's stop developing this shit. Let's focus on getting the people fed and housed and with clean drinking water, please. We're not going to see any of that anytime soon. Anyway, where was I? Right, the doughy fuck asks the leading experts, or so-called leading experts, why can't we just stop?
Why can't we just stop?
And the answer is, well, because human beings deep down are a race of warfaring pigs, and we just have to conquer and exploit and kill each other all the ding-dong day, but we hide it behind the guise of technological optimism, and we're going to colonize the universe and whatever. I can't believe that the doughy fuck actually buys into this line of reasoning that these fucking idiots feed him. But it seems, this is today's journalist.
I already love you.
This is the type of journalist that has been cultivated by today's media environment, which is oversaturated and run through with misinformation, effectively poisoned. With the difference between the average person who comes to terms in an oversaturated media environment and develops a healthy skepticism and cynicism about the world because there aren't any realistic prospects for them, and someone like the billionaire elite who come to terms in a media oversaturated world and just buy into everything, buy into their own delusions completely, like they are living in a completely separate reality than the average person lives in, where one can barely afford food. To them, reality is up and up. It's going up, baby. It's going great. We're gonna be in Mars any day now, baby. Yeah, it's all going good. But the material reality just doesn't line up. These people, like Sam Altman, are victims of the media environment as much as any of us. They saw something like 2001: A Space Odyssey. They just got the completely wrong message from it. They didn't take away why we have to kill HAL 9000 before we can go to space and become the Star Child and all that cool shit. We have to pull the plug on HAL 9000. As Stanley Kubrick fucking says outright, they didn't get that message. They just saw HAL 9000 and thought, that guy's pretty fucking cool. Let's develop that. So this is what happens, obviously, when you have a bunch of people running things who have no media literacy, who aren't equipped to deal with a world of infinite movies and infinite TV and on, because their brains can't process information in a productive way that separates the shit from the stuff that's actually worth watching and consuming and reading and so on. So they look at something that's generated by AI and they go, yes, this is of the same value to people as any Renaissance masterwork. The Mona Lisa, get out of here with that, don't need that. We've developed a machine that can do that. And so our painting is of the same value. It's not. There's just no way it can fucking be. Even under capitalism, it just fucking can't. That's just not how things work. When you oversaturate the market with fucking garbage, you're not going to see people buying shit, being enthusiastic. Nobody I know is even reproducing anymore. My generation doesn't want to have children. This is a core conceit of the AI doc. The doughy fuck that sits down with these elites, he says, I'm having a child with my wife right now.
I started making this movie because my wife is 6 months pregnant.
Well, yippee, buddy, but the ship sailed for people like me a long time ago with that. No one's thinking we're gonna have a kid and move to the suburbs and live the American dream. Nobody's thinking about that because of the behavior of people like Sam Altman, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel. Nobody gives a shit about having children and being prosperous anymore. People need to reconcile with this. They need to recognize this. The birth rate is going down. No one wants to have kids. Do you know why no one wants to have kids? It's because all these people, all these marketing hacks say, well, in the future, human labor will have no value and human life will be meaningless. Well, why would you have children? Why would you give a fuck about reproducing under such conditions? It makes complete sense that no one wants to have a fucking kid anymore, because when the people in charge tell you that your child will be nothing more than a meat sack to the machine, who the fuck wants to have a child? Fucking nobody. And for the record, I don't think that line is true. If you have a child and you educate them correctly, although the odds of that are pretty low because you're probably media illiterate, you're not going to see them grow up to be just a slab of meat. They're going to do something worthwhile. But I can see why my generation is hesitant to have children currently, because there just doesn't seem to be any fucking point. Eugenicist breeder bitch fucks like Elon Musk, who has a breeding kink and thinks that his seed is the most potent out of anyone's, recently said that if we don't get busy soon, then humanity's gonna go extinct. Well, the reason no one's getting busy is because people like you aren't fucking hot, Elon. It's because you don't make people want to copulate. Copulation looks gross when you do it, because you're fucking disgusting.
10 females to each male.
Anyway, there's never been a less sexual time, at least in my life. No one wants to fuck right now. And as an asexual, this doesn't matter to me at all. It's completely irrelevant. In fact, my asexuality, looking back, seems kind of ahead of the curve, because now people are realizing, oh, well, we've been fed all this media that glorifies sex by, like, Jeffrey Epstein and this whole fucking class of bastards like Woody Allen. So, really, how can we trust that having sex and having children is a good thing? Really? We've just been fed this narrative since fucking birth that, like, giving birth to people in succession is a good thing. Maybe it's fucking not. Maybe it doesn't do jack shit and your child will just grow up to be the next fucking Charlie Kirk, a thankless little bastard, a little cockroach parasite. You don't know. Anyway, there is a reason that I thought this movie was called How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the AI Apocalypse, but it's actually called How I Became an Apocalyptimist. I still think that's an homage to Dr. Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove.
But the difference is, this doughy fuck that makes this movie, he's not Stanley Kubrick. So he can't, like, satirically spear the weapons and defense industry like Dr. Strangelove did. For the record, Dr. Strangelove isn't even my favorite Kubrick movie. In fact, I like rank it below, like, Paths of Glory and Barry Lyndon. I don't even like it that much, because everyone says it's, like, super funny. I don't think it's super funny, but I get what Kubrick was trying to do with it. It's not the funniest movie I've ever watched or something. Like, Blues Brothers is way funnier, but Dr. Strangelove, a decent movie. I get what it's trying to say. And what this doughy fuck does is basically like if Stanley Kubrick, instead of making a movie where he just roasts the fuck out of the weapons and defense industry, he just takes the piss on that. Instead, Stanley Kubrick rounds up the actual generals of the War Department. He takes them in, he says, look, gentlemen, I respect you. You've got my best interests in mind. I'm making a movie about the Cold War, the nuclear arms race. Tell me what you're all about. Let's spin this into a positive direction and tell the people how the atom bomb is actually great for them.
Solo, I mean, you ought to see it sometime.
I already love you.
That's what Stanley Kubrick would do if he was a fucking idiot, like this bastard that makes this documentary. But fortunately for us, Dr. Strangelove can tell us things about when a bunch of powerful people say, well, we're going to beat the Chinese and the Russians and the North Koreans. We're really going to do great things here. We're going to waste 70 years battling the Chinese and the Russians until public interest invariably wanes. Then we enter a new period like the 90s. That's just a repeat, and the cycle repeats ad infinitum, ad nauseum, on and fucking on, until we're dealing with the Bene Gesserit, and we're landing on Arrakis.
Dune. Desert planet.
I'm looking forward to Arrakis personally. That's the future I want. Butler and Jihad, and everyone's a fucking Mentat. That's the shit. Anyway, people like Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, they don't read Dune. Or if they do, they just look at the Ixians and go, those are the guys I want to be. Yeah. So anyway, this doughy fuck asks, why can't we just stop?
Why can't we just stop?
And the answer is we can stop. If we really wanted to, we could elect someone, who gives a shit. And they would say, well, we're going to hold summary trials, summary executions of all these people. They have a detailed list. And we're going to do like at Nuremberg here. We're going to go down. And we're going to, that would stop it right at the root. But I don't believe we live in an inherently fair and perfect world like that. Currently, from everything I've seen, they're thinking about impeaching Donald Trump. That would be fucking awesome. That would be great. That'd be very, very fucking cool. So we're going to see that happen, at the very least. I think that would be the minimum of justice that can be delivered here. I don't expect everyone mentioned in the Epstein files to be prosecuted or anything like that, but I think that's the bare minimum we can do as a country if we want to gain back even a modicum of self-respect. If you want me to respect America, become a loyal follower of the supposed democratic process, we need to see some imprisonment. If not some execution, we need to see some imprisonment. Or just some weakening of power. The thing is, the power is already weakening. People like Peter Thiel, running Palantir, we've already run him out of Denver. He was in Denver for 6 years, just left, headed to Florida. So, if people give enough of a shit about something, they don't want fucking Palantir here. If we say we don't want Palantir here, Palantir fucking leaves. Now that says to me that today's billionaires do not exist in some kind of protected cocoon. They're very fucking scared about their public image. That's why they make puff pieces and fund puff pieces like the AI doc to bolster their public image and convince you, who they think is gullible and stupid, why AI will have us landing on Mars. AI will solve all of our problems.
We could cure most diseases.
But their public image isn't looking so hot currently, and people don't like this shit. Because people aren't as fucking stupid as billionaires assume they are. Especially when you provide them with access to literally every piece of media ever. Now, like I say, an oversaturated media ecosystem where you can't separate between things that are worth watching and things that aren't worth watching can overstimulate and overwhelm the mind. But if you exercise basic due diligence in that area, and you read books that actually matter, like the autobiography of Malcolm X or the collected writings of Ho Chi Minh, then you can get a pretty good idea as to how the world works and how these slimy fucks walk all over you. And you don't buy into their bullshit. It's really as simple as that. Are you literate or are you illiterate? If you're illiterate, you go to the chopping block. You go to the slaughterhouse with the rest of the cattle, the rest of the feed. But if you're media literate, you're sensible, you read a lot, you'll be good. And the goof-ass who made this documentary probably won't be good. He'll probably be headed for the slaughterhouse along with the rest of his fellow apocalyptimists, or whatever he calls himself.
I already love you.
But as for me, I actually think things are looking pretty damn good here going into 2026. I think we might see a major paradigm shift in, like, radical upheaval. We're going to see that because you can only live in two separated realities for so long. You can only ignore the material reality of the world for so long before it has to snap back in the other direction. And you just have to say, well, you know, something doesn't make sense about all this. Am I being lied to? Do you think I'm a fucking idiot or what? Anyway, yeah, that's what obvious propaganda like the AI doc does. It just tries and convinces you that these people are smart or intelligent or know something you don't. They're leading experts in the field. Really, all they are is a bunch of D&D nerds from the 90s who never got laid and are bitter about it. Bitter and resentful and pissy.
TJ, what am I doing here? Kate, why can't I remember?
And let's make fun of them. Let's mock and belittle them. We need to see populism on the left. We need to see the left recapture the interests of the common people, and we need to stop alienating so many people here on the left. We need to look at the farmers, the hard workers, the auto manufacturers, and we need to say, we need more auto manufacturing, steel mills, things of actual value in this country, corn farms, and we, the left, are going to be on your side. We're going to implement a new deal, right? We're going to implement FDR's new program. And what we're currently going through is the Great Depression, right? Soup lines around the block in the old photo with the consumerist slop garbage. There's no way like the American way over the massive line of people just lined up waiting for a soup and a bread, right? And the marketing of that era, the 1930s, is exactly the same as the garbage like the AI doc that comes out today. The thoughtless, illiterate trash.
I already love you.
There's no fundamental difference. Nothing ever changes. Same as it ever was.
Artificial intelligence? Huh? Robot?
I want to see a new deal pretty soon here, I bet. It's going to be like FDR. It's going to be the new deal. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the new deal. Looking forward to the future that isn't going to involve Peter Thiel. I didn't even mean for that to rhyme. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about the trailer for the AI doc, which by the looks of it is going to be a massive flop and a disaster, an all-around theatrically released piece of shit. Going by the Metacritic score, it's at 51%, which isn't exactly glowing praise, and it's not even out yet. So if the professional critics think that of it, I mean, the audience reception isn't going to be any more positive. It comes out in March. I won't be watching it. I don't give a fuck. It's an absolute miscarriage of journalism here. A real embarrassment, honestly. So hopefully I've been able to explain in 40 minutes or so, however long this video is, why you should go watch that. And hopefully I've managed to save you all some time, kind of condense it here. Yeah, it's as simple as that, really. It's a puff piece. It's propaganda. You can go and watch educational training films from the 1950s about how the atom bomb is going to save us, nuclear power is the future.
We needed a strategic air command with the capability of striking at the heart of the USSR.
So on and so forth. That it was a lie then, it's a lie now. Got to exercise your mind. I'm really glad I am, and I'm really glad I'm taking a 2-week break off that wretched website, because I haven't seen any rise in comic sales over the last couple years I've been using it. In fact, I see more of a rise in mail. People are using the United States postal system a lot more these days because they trust it more than the internet. Just today, I was at the mailbox. I was putting an envelope in there, and this lady came up behind me and she said, "Can I get in there? I need to use this. Let me drop it in the slot." I was kind of struggling because it wasn't fitting in the slot right. And, I just told her, make sure it goes down the slot right. That's never happened to me before in my life, that someone actually comes up behind me and wants to send a letter to someone because they give a shit. They want to send a piece of mail because they recognize that, sending a letter means more than just dropping a DM, It's so nice. People are using the mail now. See, that's something to be optimistic about in the future. All you mailmen out there, You're the only government employees that I really, truly, legitimately respect. Hats off to the United States Postal Service for keeping Nicholas Comics going after all these years. Through sleet, snow, and rain and hail, and the negative depictions of you in the oversaturated media environment through games like Postal, you people have kept a cool head and shown the nation that all you're committed to is the most honest, democratic, fair form of communication network possible, and that the mail is a constitutionally necessary institution. Thank fuck for the United States Postal Service. Anyway, if you want to buy a stamp today and help defeat the evil forces of fascism, instead of using PayPal or Venmo or any of that Peter Thiel garbage, you can write to Nicholas Cicada, 1424 Columbine Street, number 1, Denver, Colorado, 80206, for a free catalog of some of my fantastic fucking comics. They're fucking great. Nicholas Comics are the future, baby. Woo woo, it's 2026, it's the future, let's fucking go. Shh. Until next time, sporsh.
You know you gotta have a zip code, yeah, you're up beyond the north. A zip code, yeah, oh, you wanna pack a home. A zip code, yeah, you're morning, we're downtown, and everything will be alright. Well, meet a fella called Mr. Zip.
What he can do for you will really make you flip.
So if you have any further postal demands, we're gonna leave you in his hands. You know you gotta have a zip code, yeah, you're up beyond the north. A zip code, yeah, you're